The ideas and content in this podcast are our own and do not reflect the views or opinions of any current or previous employers. So these are problems I probably shouldn't have to deal with. Because my job is supposed to be just taking this plan and building it from start to finish. Yeah. I don't ever remember a time that was the case.
Never, ever, ever.
I mean, always explaining to our CMs that, like, yes, I know it's unfair that you should have to uncover everyone's problems.
That's your job,
you should also have to handle them and deal with them and keep the homeowner happy. But that's kind of part of the gig.
Dude, I'm telling you, construction management, that's part of the job.
It is.
And I will tell you that I've had people over the years bitch and complain, and they're like, I don't want to have to do somebody else's job. And I'm like, dude, if you don't get involved and you don't uncover those things, then your job doesn't get done. And who are you going to blame then?
And all the while, we should be working as a group to try to stop those problems from happening at their root cause. At their freaking root cause.
Yeah, hey, can I tell you your headphones are on backwards, and it kind of makes me laugh?
They're so cheap that it doesn't sound any different.
Oh, mine are the same way.
Yeah.
Mine are on right.
I just put it on because it's also kind of a short cord they provided me here off of Amazon for like $9. And and so I would just use I put the side with the cord on the side where I'm plugging it.
Hey, can we talk about our live event? Because it's going to be freaking amazing.
Let's talk about it. I know exactly when it is. It's like I do. I'm joking. August 16th.
At Lost Rhino.
It's
Ashburn, Virginia.
Yeah, Ashburn, VA.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. So I went and checked out the location. They've got a ton of outdoor seating.
That's good because there's,
Yeah, there's a
pandemic. We got to stay. I heard somebody say practicing safe 6.
Safe 6?
Yeah.
What's that?
6 feet away, baby.
Oh. Okay.
And it's kind of like a little funny because, innuendo. Right? You guys can't see my eyebrows right now. Okay. They're going up and down.
Okay. Yeah, it's super funny. So anyway,
you can cut all that out if you want.
I'm just staying. I'm no longer editing anything. But they have fantastic beer. They've got food. It's going to be awesome. We've got a ton of people that are already coming out. We have a shitload of giveaways.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, True Work, our good friends at True Work have donated 5 items. So we'll be raffling those off. We've got ISO tunes. We've got 3 sets of ISO tunes we're going to raffle off. Lift Safety gave us a DAX carbon fiber hard hat.
What?
Which is awesome.
It is so cool.
I almost took my used one and put it in the box, but I thought that would be unethical.
What, just to re-up with a newer model? That'd be really dirty.
It's a full brim. Dude, I love it. I saw it and I was like, you're kidding me.
I mean, I think my lift hard hat is probably the thing I like the most.
Dude,
on the job site.
They're
I wear it
badass.
every single day, and it makes everybody jelly.
Absolutely. They're awesome hard hats and super comfortable.
Yeah.
They also gave us 2 pairs of...
Can I tell you, wait a minute, can I tell you my favorite part about it, I think? Not only is it super lightweight and it's comfortable and all that crap, but it has a suede sweatband in it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're wearing a ball cap, even though it's a hard hat.
It's a hard hat.
That's my favorite part.
It's keeping your noggin safe.
Right.
So they also gave us 2 sets of safety glasses that are sunglasses, dude. Sweet. They look fantastic.
I assume one of those sets is for me.
We have to buy a raffle ticket.
Oh my God.
But I will tell you. So the people that have donated stuff are super generous. True Work, they've always been a great partner of the show. Their gear is amazing. We still have the discount code CMP15. You want to go to their website, you can get a discount on your first order. You can go to buildertactics.com to our partners tab, and there's a link to True Work. And you can actually, if you tell us what you're doing to keep safe during COVID or helping your workmates. But if you get on there, you can tell us what you're doing to promote, the trades or promote, yourself professionally or whatever, or benefit others. You can win True Work gear. So I know there was a winner. We'll announce it at the next show for people that have already submitted stories and stuff. So it's awesome. As always, Builder Tactics is there. I just uploaded a link to the audiobook for Builder Tactics, A Practical Guide to Construction Management. You can download that. Eventually, I'm going to get around to updating the blog.
Oh, my God. Eventually.
Yeah, last time I updated was December of 19.
Are people into that?
Not on our page.
So maybe we should focus our efforts on something else.
Yeah.
Like more live events since they're so successful.
They're
as
so
well.
successful. So this one's going to be fucking.
This one's going to be.
This one's going to be awesome. I'm
Yeah,
super
it
excited.
is going to be great, and the fact that we're partnered with Homemade here and that this is a charity event.
Can we talk about Homemade, dude?
Let's
Because
talk about Homemade.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the work that they do. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Homemade, what they do is they have partnered with suppliers and builders, and they go out, and if you have, let's say you own a home that's for a homeless shelter and it needs maintenance, or you need to rebuild or remodel or whatever, Homemade will actually come in, they'll find the resources for you, and they'll rebuild your shelter, your halfway house, your whatever homeless or battered women shelter that you have. They'll work with you.
Is it just homeless or battered women shelters, or
Children, battered women
I'm fairly
shelters?
certain that they do all types of improvements or set up improvements for charitable organizations, right? Or is it just that?
I think their focus is homeless.
All right, we're gonna cut
homelessness.
this part out then, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think maybe you're wrong. Let me look up Homemade.
'Cause I thought their focus was the homeless.
You know, I think that we should probably be better.
should probably
at
know.
this. We should probably be better at podcasting by now.
Well, we did have Kristen on the show for like an hour.
She's fantastic too.
She is fantastic. So,
Okay. About.
just read it and I'll edit it in. Maybe you can stop kicking the table or the chair or whatever.
That's not me.
Oh, it's not you? Did you hear it?
I heard it. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. That's weird. Whatever.
You sure it's not you?
I was doing nothing. I was sitting here staring at you thinking you're kicking the table. There it is again. Oh, it's me.
It's literally the desk.
I'm like, what is he
There's a
doing?
goddamn poltergeist in this office. Oh my god, it's so funny.
All right. You got it pulled up there?
Okay, so here it is. To achieve its mission, Homemade connects regional builders and housing industry professionals with nonprofits faced on ending homelessness. So it is it's a group focused on putting guys like you and I together and people that we know in this industry to try to help assist ending homelessness. And that means, like Kristen said last time we interviewed, their group is focused on organizing and finding funding for the projects that these charitable organizations would have a very hard time doing on their own or don't have the resources, bottom line, to do it.
Yeah.
So it's every speech that I've heard at a Homemade event has been touching and
Dude, tear-jerking.
extremely real. And it's one of those things that it's like you drive by on your way to work every day and you don't think about it. And these folks are thinking about it all day long. It's what they do.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. So it's a great charity. It's going to be a great event. Lost Rhino is fully on board. 10% of the proceeds for the entire day is going to go to Homemade. Anything we can raise for the raffle is going to go to Homemade. It's going to be a good event.
Very good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's talk about the fact that we've I don't want to say we've turned a corner, but companies are hiring again. People are reaching out and they're trying to, some of the employees that got laid off for different builders are trying to bring them back. Trade contractors that let some people go are bringing them back. And now is a great opportunity to jump back into the workforce if you were laid off, but really maybe upgrade your position.
Right.
Or break into that field that maybe you wanted to get into before all this happened.
So let's talk about the fact that, when a lot of folks in our industry were going through a similar situation, it was in the big downturn of the market after 2008. But the difference there was there was all, I guess in a similarity before we get into differences, that was a really good scenario that eventually burst and went extremely downhill fast. But I feel like the reaction from companies and the different industries, especially home building industry, it happened over the course of a couple of years. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, because, you saw things like were tough in the end of '07, and then '08 was rough, and then by '09 all your friends were gone. And that was like a couple of years that it took to get to that point. The difference between that and this virus scenario is that happened in I feel like it happened in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say 2 weeks.
I mean, it was literally we went from you're home, people are working from home, there's a big scare, there's all these local government stuff saying you got to follow these rules, stay home, blah, blah, blah. And then within a month, it was the companies were making layoffs, and I just feel like it was shocking. So,
I think that there was a lot of knee-jerk reactions from a lot of companies.
Sure. They don't know what this looks like on the other end.
Yeah, how long is this going to last? Everybody's fired.
Exactly. Or how long is this going to last? We're going to push pause on a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're not sure exactly when it's going to come back online.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit of gives us a segue into what you were talking about there. Is companies are looking to try to reestablish where they're at. New home sales in this country are ridiculous.
Dude, through the roof.
I mean, ridiculous right now. People are looking for a new home because if they're renting, so they're living in somebody else's house, or they were already looking and they put stuff on pause, and now we're getting 3 months worth of new home sales. Instead of getting them once a month, you're getting all of them at the same time.
Yep.
And then you've also got companies that are now trying to reestablish what their new goals are and what their future looks like.
Well, along with those home sales, though, I mean, you've also got a big exit from cities because people don't want to be trapped, and you've got ridiculously low interest rates. I mean, you throw all that together, man, and that is just a firestorm for sales.
It really is. And there's a I mean, excuse me, like I say, my wife is in the business. She'll tell you look on the market for a home to purchase. If it's not new and 8 to 10 months out, there's not a whole lot on the market. And if it is on the market, it's there for 24 hours.
My neighbor sold their house with no realtor.
Yeah. I mean, it's
never even put it on the market.
It's very possible, but
dude, I told you, I had a guy called me the other day and was like, "Hey, you want to sell? Are you interested in selling your house?"
You're like, "Fuck yeah, how much?"
It was the lemon house. Yeah, I want to sell it.
Yeah, you don't mind plumbing leak or two, do you?
You don't mind that the windows are no good and the siding's falling off and the plumbing is shit. That's fine.
There's a groundhog out back eating everything.
Two groundhogs.
Oh my gosh,
I'm killing.
I might have to come over there and help you.
Gina freaked the other day. I grabbed my bow and arrow and ran out the door. She's like, "Where are you going?"
You're like, "Target practice."
She's like, "This is an animal refuge."
No, it's a tomato refuge, and that thing is waging war on them.
Yeah, man. So anyway, so the good news. So here's what I think. I think it happened, just like you said. It was super quick, and I think it's going to take longer. It's going to be extended time to get out of this kind of hole we're in with COVID. But companies are hiring again, and that is really good news. So they're bringing a lot of their people back. And I think now is a great opportunity to sharpen your skills, sharpen up your resume, make sure that it reflects your true skill set, and to really kind of reestablish yourself in the industry. So, and I think there's a couple things you need to do to kind of do that, and I think it starts with your resume. So, I know you and I have reviewed hundreds of resumes in the past. And it's important. I was telling somebody the other day that a resume is not just for employers. It's also for you, right? So if you write your resume, it gives you the opportunity to list your skill set, to evaluate, what you can and what you are and are not capable of. And it gives you an opportunity to just see where you've been, and it kind of gives you a roadmap to where you can go. So, when you're creating your resume, I think it's important to make sure that you don't just look at it as this is for somebody else, but also think about it as this is for me as well. And when you write it, you got to be real honest with your skill set. Because I think a lot of people, they don't realize all the skills that they have, and they leave it off of their resume, if that makes sense.
Right. I see two things. One, just that. You haven't highlighted the things that are extremely valuable for and let me tell you this. If you have one resume that you're sending out for a whole bunch of different jobs, that's a mistake.
Yep.
You should be sending out a different resume for each job that you're applying to, in my opinion. At least applying some tweaks to it.
And make sure if you send a cover letter, you address it to the right company.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's a really good point.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen cover letters addressed to different companies, and I'm just like, well, what?
Yeah. You're fired.
Where is this going?
Did I say hired? I meant fired. No, but I see, like I say, the two things: either not listing the things that are relevant, that you do have, attributes that you do have, and I also see trying to, for lack of a better term, church up the things that you can do. Like you're trying to make them so presentable and so official that they sound stupid when you say them.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had a good example now.
Well, I'll give you an example. So like a lot of people, like I'll talk to people that are in the trades and they'll be a supervisor and I'll say, what do you do? Oh, I'm a plumber. I'm like, okay, well, aren't those guys working for you? Yeah. Well, I'm like, okay, well, you're also a leader. You're also a manager.
Right.
You also have, clerical skills you have to do. You're maintaining their hours. I'm like, dude, you're more than just a plumber.
Yeah. It's more than just shit rolls downhill. You got a whole bunch of other skills that goes with that.
Exactly. And I think it's the ancillary skills that people tend to leave off their resume, and they shouldn't. And like even the volunteer stuff. So if you're a coach, you're,
oh my gosh, yes.
There's so much that goes along with it, right? You're doing organizing, you're doing charity work, unless you're getting paid, and you consider it charity work, even if you are, depending on what you're coaching.
Sure.
There's clerical skills that go with that. There's leadership skills that go with that. And I think it needs to be listed. So the last resume I wrote, this is a long time ago, but the last time I wrote a resume, I included an entire section on, I forget how I labeled it. I think I called it charitable work, or I called it philanthropic work or something like that. And I listed all the different
philanthropic work.
Yeah, buddy. I threw that word on
good.
there.
That's really good.
But I listed all the things like, I sat on the board for U.S. Lacrosse, for a local chapter of U.S. Lacrosse. I was a vice president of the local, board. I put that on there, man.
I certainly hope you filled up some of your resume with all of the extracurricular shit you do, because it takes up about a third of your time.
It does. And I put it all on there. And I was like, but, it just goes to the point where when I'm sitting there in front of the people and they can say, do you have any experience with, planning events? Well, yes, I do. Do you have any experience with this? Well, yes, I do. And it's listed here. And it just goes to show a couple things. It shows that I'm more than just a plumber or an electrician,
Right.
or a carpenter or whatever. And it shows that, I'm willing to go above and beyond, more than just, I'm not just going to punch a clock from 9 to 5 and be done with it. I'm like, these are the things that I care about. This is how I can bring my professionalism to my personal life and vice versa.
True. One of the things you'd mentioned next here on our kind of list of topics is to evaluate your brand. And
Definitely.
What do you mean by that when you say evaluate your brand? Are you talking about your personal brand?
Your personal brand.
Nice.
Absolutely. Because everybody has a personal brand. When they have like a self-image that they put out there, everybody has a brand. And it's important to evaluate yourself and say, what brand do you want to be? And then look critically at yourself and say, am I representing that brand? Or am I some lesser version of it? And I always give the example, like you'll see like Mercedes or Lexus or Under Armour, the U in Under Armour is never missing on the logo, right? Because it's a brand. And every time they put that logo on something, they're representing their brand. And you think of it as quality. You're the same way. When you're going to an interview, when you're on the job site, when you're walking your dog, you're representing your brand to everybody that sees you.
Anytime you put yourself in front of others.
Yeah.
And people are going to evaluate you. So I agree with that 100%. I think when you put yourself together in the morning, whatever your routine is, that you get ready in the day and bring it out to present yourself to the world, your job or the people you've got to talk to that day or your subordinates or whatever. I do think it's important that you take it all into consideration. And another thing with evaluating your brand, I think, is being self-aware. I think that one of the qualities that you notice in people, both good and bad, is whether or not they're aware of how what they are saying is affecting the people they're standing in front of. Like what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, whether I have a smile on my face while I'm saying it. Am I trying to give you the right impression of me in an argument, in a conversation, in an evaluation? Those things are all like super important. And how I present myself is as important as how I look or what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. It's true. So maybe put away the jorts, retire that Metallica shirt from 1992,
Now, I think if the pockets hang out your shorts and you've got the Metallica shirt, I mean, you could be able to pull that off.
You kind of look badass.
It depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you want to push trash cans around the back of the parking garage.
That's the thing. If you want to be a manager, dress for it.
Right.
You know, get rid of the jorts. Put on a pair of pants.
I wanted to be a PM so bad. I wore khakis and I tucked my shirt in every single day.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Me too.
And then I got promoted.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why didn't you just wear jeans and work in the field? You can still be comfortable and have a great paycheck and you'll enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, dummy. Anyway.
It's like I like the PM job too.
So anyway, so make sure your brand represents the position you're looking for and not the position you've either got or, you know, just don't sell yourself short is really the gist there. And seek out education. You know, if you want to be a manager or if you whatever, you want to increase your stature, your position or whatever, you want to get a job that you don't currently have.
You want to make more money.
You know, seek out the education for that job so that when you are sitting in front of the person that could potentially hire you to do that job and they say, what have you done to prepare for this position? You can say, you know, I went to, you know, there's tons and tons and tons of free educational material on the internet. Tons. And just because you don't have a certification or degree in it, depending on what the job is, you know, I don't want a doctor that didn't go to med school, but you can say, you know, list it on your resume. You can say, hey, you know what? I studied this textbook and I sought out this organization because they have lots of information. And I sought out, you know, these leaders of industry because they're already doing the job and I wanted to know what their impression of it was and get advice from them. It goes a long way. You know, when you're talking to somebody, you're being interviewed, it shows that you have ambition and that you're not just, you know, throwing dice at a wall, hoping that, you know, you come up snake eyes or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, you'd mentioned a bunch of different ways that, you know, education and training that you can, I mean, the first thing you have to do is the research. A lot of times, you know, if you're applying for a new position, you have to find out what kind of qualifications that position requires.
Yeah.
And you have to seek them out. And, you know, you talk a lot about how you went to college late in life. And so did I.
I sure did.
So did I. I had 2 kids
Yeah.
and I had hobbies. I was still playing rugby. I was fishing all the time. And I had to give up everything for a number of years to get through my degree. And it sucked a lot. My kids were upset and, you know, but it was a necessary evil. It wasn't evil. I use that stuff every single day. I learned a lot about writing letters and how to do pre-work so you can be prepared. And
yeah,
I mean, some of the stuff that you go through in college doesn't necessarily give you real life skills.
Nope. Right.
But it does give you organizational skills and being prepared for your job is super important. So,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And I got to tell you, dude, I mean, you know, people will tell you that going to college is important, and it is, I guess, if that's what you want. But there's no excuse for not seeking out the education to better yourself because it's free. There's nothing that you're going to learn in school. I won't say nothing, but there's so much information on the internet right now. If you need a technical skill, you can find that information. You don't have to go to school. I mean, if you want the certification or the diploma or whatever, then yeah, you got to go to school. But if you're just looking to increase your ability to perform at your job, that information is out there. You just have to go find it.
Right. I mean, sometimes just a blind certification for something is like the jump off point. Mm-hmm. Just because you get that certification, some people go to college right out of high school, finish it in 4 years, whatever, and then start their job that they don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody that has a degree that directly their major was directly what they ended up doing. I literally don't know anybody that's like that.
I mean, nurses and stuff, accountants.
Yeah, but even out of the nurses I know, none of them started going to school with that thing in mind. They switched majors and then they changed their mind later, and my brother included. Like, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do.
I was trying to figure out your brother's a nurse, right?
Right. And, you know, you get to a point, you make a new decision, you reevaluate your training, you make better decisions. You try to get the certs that you need, and then you go through these processes that we're talking about, presenting yourself in the right light, and
Yeah.
being aware if the guy you're talking to is rolling his eyes when you're telling him stuff, say something different. because he doesn't like what you're putting down, and you got to be able to read that. And that's part of this game. And that's just for getting hired, though. I feel like we've digressed 5 times. Do we have we talked about anything here?
Yeah, man, we talked about a lot of stuff.
Okay,
but here's one thing I want to say that, and you brought it up. If you are going on an interview, have somebody practice that interview with somebody, with your spouse, your brother, your sister, your friends, or whatever. Give them a copy of your resume and have them ask you questions about it, because it prepares you for when somebody else. Like, I went to an interview once, and I sat down, and the dude that was interviewing me had a copy of my resume, and I have never seen so much red ink on a piece of paper ever. He had marked up the entire thing, like line by line, and then proceeded to grill me on everything that was in the resume.
Dang.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy smokes.
Wow.
I got the job. I got the job, but I was like,
that doesn't sound like a dude I want to work for.
You do work for him.
Really? Wow. That's awesome.
So I was like, but I didn't realize.
Fortunately, I was already working here when I started working for him.
Yeah, you were. So what I didn't realize was and this just goes to, because you never know who's going to interview you.
You do work for him? Oh, shit. I'm sorry, boss.
You never know who the interviewer is. And in this particular case, the interviewer was a former police officer.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, I'm getting to the bottom of this resume.
Who it is now.
Yeah. So, and I was super intimidated. I just glanced over and saw it on the desk, and I was like, well, this sucks. But I was prepared because everything in my resume was true. And I had practiced interviewing.
That's good.
So when I sat down, I was like, okay, let's do this. And I was offered the job on the spot. So
it's great.
Yeah, but I was prepared. So that's important. Anyway, we've collected a handful of resumes from our listeners. Some of them have been sent out to companies all over the country, actually. Keep sending them in. Another great resource is a company called let me look it up.
Dang.
I know, I just fucked that up. And you may want to look at this too. So a great resource is actually a company called Trade Hounds. They have an app, and it's specifically for trade people.
Cool.
So it's like LinkedIn for trade people. So if you download their app, if you're a tradesperson, and what they do is they ask that you put pictures of your work in, and that's your resume.
Wow.
So people
that's pretty cool.
So people can see it. People can see the work that you're doing. And employers can get on there and they can look, I need an electrician in, Sacramento. And they can search and find you and say, oh, this guy's doing great work. Look at all the pictures, and get in touch with you. And then, maybe you get hired.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. It's not a huge company right now, but I think it's going to take off.
It sounds like something that could be very useful. One of the items you put on here toward the end is social media.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I hear a new name, either in workplace or personal life or whatever, like within the next 10 minutes, I'm going to plug that name into either Facebook or Instagram.
For sure. Definitely.
And just see if you're an idiot.
You look like a TikTok guy to me.
TikTok guy? I am not. I can't dance.
Is that just for dancing? I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it's for everything, but mainly for dancing.
I don't know. Nobody wants to see me dance.
Oh my God. So you made a note here. I think it's great. It says, use this as a tool, not a place to make an ass of yourself.
Yes.
There's a lot of asses. There's a lot of asses out there. And you know what? If you are interviewing with me and you're an ass on Facebook, I'm going to know really quickly.
Oh my God, for sure.
And it's simple as just locking down your page.
Make it private.
I believe that people should be able to have their own lives outside of their workplace.
Yeah.
But if you're putting that stuff on blast, it better be like at least jiving with the image that we were just talking about.
Your brand.
Right.
Your brand.
Because guess what? Your Facebook page, part of your brand.
100%.
It definitely is.
And that's, it's funny because if I interview somebody and I get their name, the first thing I do is I Google them. And if everything's private, I'm like, good.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad it's private.
This criminal's probably at least protecting us. That's what I think.
But if it's all
Private, huh? What do you got to hide?
Well, if it's like open to the public and it's pictures of them getting shit faced and
yes,
everything else, I'm like, okay, hanging out the sunroof of a car. I'm like, is this really the guy?
Guns and money on the front page here, huh? You're hired.
What is this face buried in this white powder? What is that? I don't understand. So it's important, especially if you're trying to present your personal brand to an employer, that you make sure that all of the social media outlets that you have match your brand.
My wife used to manage a couple of daycares at this series of gyms where we live, and she used to do the same thing. It was like she'd get a resume or a referral in, and she would immediately look them up on Facebook, and probably 75% of the candidates were tossed out before they even got a look because of Facebook.
Yeah, dude, I believe it.
And that also just goes to show you how very accessible all of your opinions are.
And I hate to say that because I'm a big, First Amendment guy. You got an opinion, own it.
Right.
But at the same time, if you believe in killing puppies, maybe don't put that on Facebook. Maybe don't put that on Instagram, because you're not going to get a lot of second look.
Like you said, it is a brand. You create your own brand. And if you put it out there and it's not what the company is that you're applying to is gonna want, then you're probably not gonna get that job.
For sure.
And I definitely think when the Army asked me, like, Sergeant, what are your intentions with the Army? My answer was always, I'm gonna do 20 years and then I'm gonna retire from this man's Army, because that's what I know they want to hear. And so you sometimes have to say what they want to hear, because you're presenting an image. You definitely have to. And you know what? Every day that I was there, that was the mentality I had. This is my life. I'm going to do the best that I can.
Good for you.
Until you're not looking, and then I'm getting out.
And then there's to be a puff of smoke, and I'm gone.
And like a cartoon where it's like a shape of me. Pew! I'm not lying. ETSing was the greatest thing ever. Both times I had to do it.
That's so funny. So anyway, I think the moral of the story here today is that, companies, we're coming out of this thing. Companies are looking to hire. Mm-hmm. They're looking to bring people back. Now's a great opportunity to reinvent yourself, go after that promotion or break into the industry, and really, really do something with, turn this, this shit bag that we've been given into something good. But it starts with you. It starts recognizing who you are, what you're capable of, what your brand is, and then going out there and selling it.
True. One door closes, another one opens. That's the way it works.
For sure.
You just got to prepare yourself all the time and constantly reassess yourself and your goals and just move forward on it. Yeah. Hey, one of the things that we were gonna do. We've been discussing this a while. We've got, we've passed 100,000 downloads with this podcast. We've done over 50 episodes. We're kind of discussing like what's the next step for us, and I think one of the things that I think is really important, kind of goes along with this, is back to basics. And I think that in future podcasts we want to go back to some of those things that we talked about in the beginning. I feel like those are tools that I hear people talk about when they know the show, and that they try to use, and I think that we should go back and reevaluate.
And maybe they'll sound better.
Oh, they'll sound a lot better. They sound a lot better.
Yeah.